What do you think about this? It kind of seems, I mean, Canada's sort of between a rock and a hard place, of course, being part of NATO and having to ensure that they're taking care of their NATO partners. The return of this Russian turbine to Germany. Europe is in desperate need, of course, but Ukraine, as we've talked about, is also in an extremely dire situation. Canada caught in the middle. What are your thoughts?
Well, Ukraine's disappointment is understandable. We talk such a good game, and we know that we have well over 1 million Canadians with origins in Ukraine. And they are also very disappointed with Mr. Trudeau's government's behavior on this one. How can you possibly justify helping the economy and the exports of a country that we just accused, justifiably, by the way, of genocide? We're going to help their economy, help them export. Yes, Germany is one of our NATO allies, no question about that. And yes, the Europeans are trying to make sure that they put away enough natural gas to get through the next winter. We all understand that. But there are a lot of other things the world could be doing, the Western partners could be doing to help with that potential energy shortage, other than coming to the aid of Russia. Now, there's something immensely hypocritical in the way we're doing this. We don't want to get caught sending this piece of equipment directly back to Russia. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to send it to Germany so that the Germans can install it in Russia with the Russians. So all the while saying that we're standing four square with Ukraine against this illegal Russian aggression. There's just something about it that doesn't work. And to top it all off, of course, to try to give themselves a little bit more of a fig leaf on this, the Trudeau Liberals have come up with the following. Well, we're going to toughen our sanctions on Russia. What does that even mean, Angie, when we're giving back to the Russians something they need to help their economy?
Yeah, and I guess, and that's exactly it, right? Because money's still going to be pumping back into Russia. When we're talking about those sanctions, they're now looking at focusing on Russia's media machine to deal with the disinformation campaigns they're seeing that's coming out of the war in Ukraine. But that in itself, I mean, again, it's you and I have had multiple conversations. Where's the impact going to come on Russia, on the financial and on the economic side? You know, this
sure,
type
it's
of
the only way to get them to the table, and that's why they've been reacting so strongly this week. I mean, Putin's answers about this is an attack, this is a blitzkrieg against the Russian people and the Russian state, you know, these economic sanctions, that's an indication that it's working. And so for Canada, I mean, it reminds me of what we did just a few weeks ago. Somehow, out of the blue, we thought it would be a great idea to have somebody from our Foreign Affairs Department, Global Affairs, attend a Russia Day celebration, a feast, you know, drinking vodka and having caviar with the Russian government in Ottawa, the same government, again, that we had just accused.
What should Canada be doing then in response to this? Germany is saying, okay, we need to have this turbine. Europe is saying we need help. So what would you say, what would you say is the best course of action here?
I think that Canada has a lot of possible cards to play in this one. We're still a massive energy producer. The Americans and Canada produce incredible quantities of natural gas. We could have started a plan, you know, because it's been many, many months that this war has been going on. We could have been getting something in place to try to help replace the Russian natural gas. Instead, we're again looking at this as if, you know, the winter weather is just around the corner. I mean, in a few months, Europe will be facing much colder weather. We know that. And something should have been done other than saying, well, why don't you just go back into the the paws of the Russian bear and you have nothing else to say about it. I think that Canada could have been looking at other options. But again, we have Minister Wilkinson out there lamely explaining that this is what we're going to do. Melanie Joly trying to sputter that we're going to put in more sanctions, but those sanctions are utterly meaningless when the one thing that could have actually brought Russia to the bargaining table and helped force them, which is, you know, the loss of all of this economic possibility and prosperity for their own country. We're losing that. So what's the incentive for Russia to finally start sitting down and saying, okay, this war is going to stop and cooler heads are going to prevail. We're going to have an adult conversation about Donbass. We're going to have an adult conversation about Crimea, and we're going to try to get to a solution. What's the incentive at this point if they can still get what they want by force or by threat of cutting off or not being able to deliver natural resources to Western Europe?
Well, we certainly expect we are going to be hearing at some point as he does a weekly, or excuse me, I should say a regular evening address for their President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine, anticipating that, of course, will be coming with some pretty strong words and a hard push again, perhaps for Canada to pull back on this. agreement to bring to give back the turbine, but we'll certainly keep a really close eye on it. It is as you say, it's a very, very difficult situation, but you quite rightly point out, if you're going to hit them hard, you got to hit them hard in any which way you possibly can.
It has to be at some point. It has to be credible.
Yeah.
And that's what we're starting to sense in Canada's approach here. We talk a good game, and then we party with the Russians. We talk a good game, then we give them what they want economically. At some point, it loses all credibility.
Tom, we'll be talking about this for quite a while, I'm sure. CTV News political commentator, former NDP leader, Tom Mulcair. Have a good Sunday, Tom.
Have a good Sunday. All the best.